Yeah, I think that's a human flaw in general, even if it's in regards to fame or anything. I think a lot of people tend to think, once I get this, everything else will be perfect and just slot into place miraculously. And it doesn't quite work like that. Yo, what's going on? I'm Zayn, and I'm going to be sculpting my self-portrait. I'm going for a bit of a creative approach, so I'm going to mix it up. I think I'm going to do like a zombie version of myself. I remember very vividly drawing Casper a lot. I was obsessed with Casper the Friendly Ghost as a kid, and I used to just draw him on repeat. And I remember the day that it actually really looked like him, and my mum and dad were super impressed. And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna stick at this. I'm pretty good at this. I don't know if it was a performance I seen that made me want to be a musician. I think I was just into R&B music a lot when I was younger. My dad used to play some really good songs, and because of that, I was inspired to, try and sing myself a little bit. I think I actually remember playing Mario, Let Me Love You to my dad and being like, oh, I'm gonna try singing this song. And he was like, son, if you could sing like this, all of our problems would be solved. So I was like, all right, cool. I'll try and figure that out, yeah. My dad played a lot of good music. I always appreciated when he would put Tupac on. Anything Tupac, really. Always was a good day in our house. I didn't really sing to my dad too much. I was kind of very shy when I was younger. I got into theater studies around high school and really started going in on the music, I guess you could say at that point, taking it seriously. So it's probably about 13, 14, up to about 15, 16. And yeah, I just remember really enjoying it and getting into it, and people, saying to me, oh, you're pretty good at this. You should try, pursue it. My music teacher, Miss Hallowell, actually was saying to me a lot of the time, she gave me the inspiration to audition for X Factor. She was like, you should audition. So she actually got me some singing lessons and stuff like that. And it was a good way to get out of double math. I could go do a singing lesson in school. So that was fun. Yeah, so I guess when I really started thinking I was good was when my music teacher said, oh, you've got ability, you could do something with this. I actually sent her flowers not too long ago just to say thanks, because she came up in thought, and I was like, oh, I want to say thanks to her. The head of theatre was also a big influence in my life, Miss Galloway Place. She was big support. She would always tell me that I had ability and stuff from a young age, yeah. I'm just doing the eyes right now. I think things that are, recognizable that you're used to seeing me with, maybe the beard and things like that, can make it really look like me. So yeah, just looking for them recognizable traits, I don't know if I used them consciously to do that in my mind. I've always just been into art and, expression of art. That obviously gives me a place to basically experiment with that on my body. And yeah, I feel like, a picture's worth 1,000 words. It's just a way of expressing myself, I guess, as an artist. My first tattoo was my grandfather's name, and I got it in Arabic, and he has the most English name ever. His name's Walter. And I tattooed it in Arabic. And I think I did that because I knew my mom wasn't super cool with me getting tattoos. So I got her dad's name so that she'd be cool with it. But also it was a memento to my granddad and, in honor of him. But I knew I'd get away with it because it was my mom's dad's name. I don't really hide any of my ink, just in general, obviously there's certain clothes that you might wear, will show them more, but I don't really think about trying to hide any of them at this point. I think each tattoo has, a memory of where you got it and where you were at that time and who the artist was. And that experience of, sitting there and going through that is always in my mind. But in terms of what it says about my life, I feel like that's a difficult question to answer. I don't know. I feel like it shows, some interest in art and creative expression. But beyond that, yeah, I don't really think too deeply about the meaning of things either with my tats. Sometimes I just got them because I like the way they look. I've got a lot of tattoos since, I left the band in ode to the music that I've done, since I've been solo. Still got Time tattooed on me. I've got Icarus Falls tattooed on me. I don't have Mind of Mine tattooed on me. I was thinking about it. A lot of people so why did you tattoo that on you and not the other ones? Honestly, again, it wasn't that deep of a thought. I just got the idea at that point and I was like, I'm gonna tattoo that on me. It's something I've always explored since I first started doing solo music. I wanted something that felt like it was, truly just mine. So I really honed in on what made me, me. And I felt like that was definitely a big, part of my identity, is my heritage and culture. So I wanted to put that in there and, hopefully open people's eyes to things that they might not necessarily be familiar with. So it wasn't anything new that I had to think about for this record. It was just a development of something I've always been doing, I guess. Yeah. I'm working on my beard right now. So I'm using the black because it's a good, nice contrast to the skin. Piece by piece, so it looks like hair, yeah. I'm just breaking it off a bit at a time and then just layering it. And then I'm gonna put shape into it afterwards using one of these tools. I'll put some lines and stuff over the top of it. Zombie version of me right now. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. I was 17 when I started, so it's been a long time. I was just a young kid, basically. I had just come out of school and auditioned on this TV show that, projected my life and career in a crazy, fast-paced lifestyle that I wasn't used to at that point. And I've been doing it now for nearly 12, 13 years, so I'm a bit more experienced. I feel like I'm a bit more calm and content in this environment. It doesn't feel as jarring as it used to feel for me. And yeah, I'm just enjoying myself. I'm taking things a little bit less serious and just having fun. When I was growing up, I grew up in Bradford. And when I was doing certain things, whether it be, performing arts or singing or whatever, obviously my family would support me and, they always cared about me, but people didn't really give a shit, what I was doing. So I could do kind of what I wanted. And then obviously all this attention comes into play and people, care about what you're doing and what you're saying and things like that. It can be a bit of a different, adjustment period to getting used to people caring. I remember there was a lot of buzz when we were on the show even, and there was, a lot of girls coming outside the studio and people were telling us constantly look, this doesn't happen for everybody that's on the show. This is unusual. So we kind of got a vibe at that point that something was kind of happening, I guess, but I could have never expected it to be the way it was, I was just a young kid, I would have got excited about anything. So to the magnitude it's at now, yeah, I could have never predicted that. I'm doing the side of my beard right now, and then I'm gonna build an ear here on this side. So that can be my sideburn there. It's not a movie, but I love The Walking Dead. I love the comic books and the TV show. It's probably one of the best zombie things to ever be created. Robert Kirkman, the Beast. Yeah, I love comic books, yeah. Right now, my favorite series is Skinbreaker. It's a new one from Robert Kirkman. All time, anything Batman, they're my favorite comics. I like Red Hood a lot too. They've done some offshoots of Red Hood. I'm really into that. I love cartoons, man. I've always been into cartoons since I was a kid, and they just seem to be getting better and better as I'm getting older. So I've held on to that. It's something that speaks to my inner child a little bit. I never feel more content than when I'm just sitting on the couch, reading my comic and fire's on, some bit of weather outside, feels like my childhood. Favorite cartoon of all time is probably Boondocks. I love the Boondocks. And then favorite cartoon right now has got to be Invincible. Yeah, I've been watching it and it's at the similar point where I'm at in the comic. So it's fun to watch, yeah. But yeah, the thing I like about cartoons, I think is, anybody can see themselves in it. It doesn't have to be specific to a certain place. You can just see the characters for what the writer's intentions were. It's a fun way to look at things. It doesn't feel as direct, It feels like there's this other space that you can look at things from. For me, music's always been kind of cathartic, It's a place to just express your feelings. And I think we kind of touched on it earlier when you were saying, how does somebody who's so private choose to do this as an art form? That's exactly why I picked it as an art form, because I don't want to talk too much on a day-to-day basis. I'd rather let my art speak for itself, And that's why I did it, because I'm this is where I can connect with people through this, It's hard, every song's got a different kind of emotion, different kind of feeling. I don't want to sit here and be the bougie guy who's come on, But that's kind of how I feel about it. It depends what mood I'm in. You know what I mean? Emotions in the day, you go through 100 different emotions. It depends what you want to listen to at that moment, I guess. don't think everybody's answer will be the same, but for me, it doesn't really come into my psyche like that. A lot of people ask me all the time, like, what does it feel like to be famous? I just kind of feel the same, you know, as I did before I was famous. Like I said earlier, people just give more of a shit about what I'm doing. That's all. And that's how it works, you know, and in that you've got to then take into account, you know, the type of people that you're influencing and, you know, people that you're a role model to, and take that into account and try to be a good role model if you can for them people. Yeah, I think that's a human flaw in general, even if it's in regards to fame or anything. I think a lot of people tend to think, you know, once I get this, everything else will be perfect and just slot into place miraculously. And it doesn't quite work like that. You know what I mean? I think anybody who's lived a little bit of life knows that it takes time and you've got to work on things and you know, really put graft in for you to see a progression or a difference. It's not just going to change because you achieved this thing and now you're there, so everything's going to, you know, just be perfect. Don't know if it's changed my self-image too much, but it has definitely made me take things a bit more, you know, with a pinch of salt and just enjoy the time I have with my daughter. I have this amazing child that is super smart and real funny. I love hanging out with her. I don't know if it's changed the image of myself. I guess I just don't go out as much anymore, you know? I spend a lot of time with her, yeah. We do a lot of things together. She's really taken an interest in like extracurricular activities at the minute. So she changes her mind quite a bit, as 5-year-olds do. She's really into gymnastics. And then she's like come to me and she's like real stressed out about it, like a old 30-year-old woman. She's like, I don't think I want to do this. Like, I think I want to take dance instead. I'm really into dance. Made me super happy when she said to me, I want to play soccer. But I told her, obviously, it's called football, you know? But yeah, she wants to play soccer, so she's going to start doing that. I got to get her cleats and stuff and a kit, and that was real cool. We kicked the ball around a bit together. Yeah, she told me she was super excited because she played at school. She's like, we played at school today, and we played boys versus girls. And I said, oh, did you? That's cool. I said, what was the score? She was like, it was like 21 to the boys. And she still loved it. And I was like, okay. So me as a competitive father was like, I'm gonna teach you how to kick that ball properly so the score's a bit different next time, you know what I mean? First time performed at MSG was quite an experience. To live that again would be cool. I think I'd enjoy doing that just for the performance. And then I'd like to skip back to being this age. It just felt amazing. You know, it's got this prestigious history attached to it. All the best artists that have ever been in history have performed there. So yeah, it just felt like an honor to be able to do it. You know, being a kid from Bradford, they let me on the stage to sing it. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I'm gonna leave it there. I wanted to make it more zombified, but I just think it's gonna look weird. I was gonna put green on it, but it is what it is. I think I'm just gonna leave it there. I was gonna put some scary teeth on it too, but I think it's cool. I said I was gonna do the zombie, and I guess the only thing that looks zombie is the fact that I've got red eyes. The rest of it just pretty much looks like me. Wish I had a bit more time, I could have done the full head of hair, but right now I just have like this hair piece at the front, and yeah, it's a look. I was gonna go for the real scary demonic look, and then I just didn't know what to do after that.